Hello, and welcome to the Nature Institute. My name's Ramona. I'm the Outreach Director here at the Nature Institute, and I'm so excited that you've joined us for this video. Now, as you know, it is winter, and winter's cold and dreary. Today it's not. Today it feels like spring, and everyone is so excited to get outside and enjoy this wonderful, wonderful weather. As many of you know, our trails are closed during the winter. Winter becomes a time where we are able to accomplish a lot of the bigger projects that we can't do when we have hikers around. Today, I want to show you some of the progress that's being made along the trails while the stewardship crew is able to accomplish some of these bigger projects. Let's go find Mick and see what they've been up to. So here we are at Hutchinson's Prairie with Mick, our stewardship director. So what happened here?
So a little bit before we closed the trails down for the winter, we had a prescribed burn here at the Prairie. There's not too much left, which is hallmark of a good prescribed burn. There is still some spots that didn't burn all the way, so there's still areas for insects and little mammals to live, so it's not a complete barren wasteland. You can even see little bits of green coming up still. But the main reason that we do it is, especially for prairie health, it's very pivotal to kind of help keep trees from popping up, which is just a part of succession. So prairies help knock those down, keep everything nice and low, and it also helps things to germinate quicker and grow quicker in the springtime. Nice black soil from the char soaks up a lot of heat and helps things to warm up and start sprouting faster. There's also just not a lot of stuff keeping it from being crowded out from last year's growth, so it just helps kind of give our prairie a fresh start for the next year.
Yeah. So is burning the only method that we use for managing a prairie?
No. You can also do mowing, which is kind of, we're emulating what grazers had been doing before we got rid of them all. So it pretty much does the same thing as a burn in that we're kind of removing all that top layer of stuff, or old growth, but we're not going to take it all the way to the soil. So it still has some benefits, but not as much as a prescribed burn would have.
Okay, and we don't do that every year. So mowing and burning are just two methods, but then we also leave all of that dead stuff so that the insects have a place to live, right?
Correct. So like on the other side of Hutchinson, we have left it, we have not done anything with it. So we kind of have things on a rotation of when we mow it, when we burn it, and when we just kind of leave it for a couple years if it's doing really healthily. But if we have a lot of aggressive species like Canada goldenrod creeping in, or some of the more aggressive grass species, that's when we start picking up burns and mowing more often. It also helps a lot with invasive species. They haven't adapted to the fire as well as our native species have. That's something that's kind of cool about the Americas, is we have culturally been burning here for a very long time, and plants and animals have kind of gotten used to it.
Okay. Awesome. So I remember we burned this, of course, in November, somewhere around in there, and it was a really, really exciting burn. It burned fast, it burned hot.
It did.
And of course, this is the result. So was this an exciting first burn for you on this property?
It really was. We did a couple smaller ones that day, just to kind of, I guess, get our feet wet. But yeah, this was the big burn for that day, and it couldn't have gone better. The winds were perfect. That smoke was starting to drift, but then it was just going straight up, so we weren't smoking out too much of the neighborhood, which is something you have to be mindful of in any urban setting. When you have fire, it usually draws attention, and people see smoke, they come running. So
yeah, absolutely.
But everything went perfectly. I think we got some pretty good video of it, so hopefully we see more of that.
Yeah. Well, let's go check out one of the other areas that you've been working and see what kind of methods we're using there on the trails.
Sounds good.
So here we've met up with Mick in an area where he's been removing aggressive and invasive species. So tell us a little bit more about that.
So, first off, aggressive, invasive. What does that mean? Are they different? Are they the same? Kind of. So, they're both terms used for undesired species of plants, I guess. The difference being invasive is usually something from outside of the U.S. and causes a lot of damage to the habitat, whereas aggressive is it's native, but it just pushes out a lot of higher quality plants and just lowers the quality of things.
Okay.
So if you're doing one, might as well do both. So what we've been mainly working on over here is removing invasive honeysuckle, bush honeysuckle, bittersweet vine, which is what you see dangling behind us, and every once in a while a couple autumn olive. But those are the main big three invasives. And the main aggressive species we've been dealing with are sassafras and maple species popping up every once in a while. Granted, they're still native, but they occur in such high densities that it's kind of acting like honeysuckle. So
okay, so that removing some of those aggressive species really just kind of clears out the canopy and allows the species that we want to have here grow and grow well, right?
Correct.
So that allows the oak species to really germinate and grow, which oak species have lots and lots of acorns, meaning they're an important food species for a lot of the birds and other animals that live here.
Yeah, there's even been a couple stands of sassafras I clear out, and there's just an oak hanging out in the middle, and would not know it was there unless we'd cleared out some of that sassafras. So.
Yeah. So we've talked about our aggressive species. Now our invasive species, you named 3 main ones that we deal with. Mm-hmm. What are some of the methods that you use to get rid of invasive species?
So, kind of touch back to what we had done earlier with burning. That's a good way to kind of keep invasives managed. If it's got a lot of space to cover, don't have a lot of time, you burn it, you kind of just give yourself a little time to wait for things. And then you can come through and either spray things with herbicide, which we do a lot of. It's very cost and time effective and done properly and certified, which everyone who sprays at TNI is. It's not that detrimental to the environment. It's still not great, but we're doing what we can with what we have.
Yeah.
And also there's mechanical methods of removing these species. If they're small enough, you can pull them out. But that takes a lot of time, a lot of manpower. You got to put it somewhere, and you're disturbing the soil while you're doing that, which promotes more invasive growth. And it's a good method, but a combination of all 3 is kind of the happy place that we're kind of working with at TNI.
Okay, very good. Well, thanks for sharing with us some of the projects that you've been working on. As you can see, we are really, really close to the trail right now. So that is one of the reasons that we choose the winter to work on some of these bigger projects, is so that we don't have to worry about the hikers hiking by and maybe startling us or getting in a place where they wouldn't be as safe. So we choose to work during the winter close to the trail to keep hikers safe. And then when you come back in the spring, April 1st this year, you'll get to see all of the work that we have been doing on the trails this winter.
And ideally, you won't hear us working because we get it done in the wintertime.
Exactly. Well, thank you for watching this video today. We hope that you are able to come out on April 1st and hike our trails and see some of this progress that's being made. As we remove invasives, get rid of some of those aggressive species, and accomplish some of these really critical burns, our land will only get better as the spring and summer progress. Please check out our website and our Facebook page for upcoming events and different opportunities to come out and do some programs out here. And remember, head on out April 1st to hike the trails. We look forward to seeing you.